You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine Combat Veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
All right, this is Jessie. How you doing out there today? You know I miss you when we're not talking. Yep, that's show prep. And believe it or not, this is all on one topic. North Korea, and did I mention North Korea? Although I do have one quirky story for the end just to lighten it up a little bit. All right. First, a couple of quick announcements, and I'm going to be as brief as I can because you know I'm always on the fly on Wednesday night. All right. First, I probably should have put this episode on Saturday. Gonna warn you. We're going to go through a lot of information. I'm going to be trying pretty quick. I'm going to listen to it after it's over, and if I think I need to do it again and slow down and go more in depth, it's going to Saturday. Second, I do have external audio from a Senate Foreign Relations Subcommittee hearing relatively recently, as in since the Trump administration took office. I don't recall the date off the top of my head. Now, I think North Korea is a serious issue. And you can look at a lot of things. You know how often I mention North Korea on the air? It seems to come up in every show. North Korea did a missile launch. North Korea tested a rocket engine. North Korea. And their crazy lunatic to the north is just plain quackers. Yep, he's quackers. All right. We are going to lead off with why the North, with a couple of clips from the Senate Foreign Relations Subcommittee hearing. I believe it was just a couple days ago. I'll get you the date by the end of the show. Promise, but this clip's too short for me to go sniffing.
North Korea, as the ranking member also pointed out, poses an imminent and unpredictable threat, not just to its neighbors, but now to the continental United States.
All right, I want you to hear that again, because I thought that was so important.
North Korea, as the ranking member also pointed out, poses an imminent and unpredictable threat, not just to its neighbors, but now to the continental United States.
Yes, North Korea poses a threat, not just to their neighbors, to ours. All right. What would happen if we went to war?
A decade ago, we were worried primarily with North Korea about, one, a single actor, and number two, a conventional war that might take place. Today, if you look at most strategists when they're concerned about North Korea, they realize that any conflict we may have multiple actors involved, and we're certainly look at multiple domains. No longer are we limited to conventional war. We may very well be looking now at nuclear, cyber, and even space challenges that we have.
All right, as you know, North Korea has been accused of cyber crimes, nuclear. You've heard Continued activity at plutonium production facilities at North Korea's Yongbang nuclear complex. And trust me, they don't have enough spare electricity in North Korea just to leave the lights on. Then, North Korea Punri nuclear test site, new activity. The new commercial satellite imagery of the Pyongyang nuclear test site shows the continued presence of 3 to 4 vehicles or equipment trailers at the entrance to the north portal. The texture of the ground from the portal entrance past the vehicles or equipment trailers suggests that communication labels may have been laid on the ground. This equipment would likely be used to initiate the test, collect data from the explosion, and process the data. Also notably, water is being pumped out of the portal and draining downhill to the east and west, presumably to keep the tunnel dry for monitoring or communications equipment. The combinations of these factors strongly suggest that test preparations are well underway, including the installation of instrumentation. Of course, we can't give you a date just from imagery. Other than some mining carts at the west portal, there's not really anything going on, which means preparations are in their final stages. However, North Korea knows the world is watching, so we don't know. Then, of course, the other day I did this piece. North Korea conducts third test of rocket engine this month. North Korea tested a rocket engine for the third time this month, and like the previous 2 tests, it shows signs that the rogue nation's missile capabilities were improving. None of the 3 rocket tests ended in embarrassing explosions, showing the secret regime has made progress. Kim claimed earlier this month that a high-thrust engine symbolized a new birth of his country's rocket industry. Blah, 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 blah. Untangle my tongue. Meanwhile, we've got the U.S. Navy's a nuclear U.S. Navy fast attack submarine off the coast during the Pentagon's annual joint military exercises, and that would be the USS Columbus, is participating in Full Eagle. The USS Carl Vinson aircraft carrier and at least 2 Air Force bombers had already joined the military drills. And as we all know, Tillerson has stated the Obama-era policy of strategic patience is over. Oh yeah. I gotta say, and call me a little crackers myself, I would like to see the end to North Korea, the North Korean War, once and for all. Whether it means this, that we bring to their doorstep, or we use some planes and shake things up. Yeah, I got some sound effects tonight, too. Got audio clips and sound effects. I'm getting there, folks. Now, what else? With North Korea, I could spend probably an hour and a half or more delving into everything. But I've got to be selective tonight. As you know, my time is limited. John McCain recently called the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un a chubby dictator, a crazy fat kid. Well, I have to say, he's a fat kid. Crazy? Who knows? But I will say, John McCain, I hope and pray you did not get us into war? Sort of. Why do I say sort of? Well, because part of me, and remember, I am a military spouse, I would know many of the men and women over there. I would be one of those sending my husband and his friends over there to be part of the fighting. So I don't take the concept of going to war and putting more boots on the ground in Korea lightly, especially knowing that North Korea may be developing other weapons of mass destruction, chemical, biological, and all that. You've heard me say these things. You've heard these clips before if you're a regular listener to my show. However, it is definitely going to be one of those things that part of me is always going to say, let's go all the way to Pyongyang. Now, just a quick South Korean note, and I have no details, it just flipped across my phone. Former South Korean President Park Geun-hye arrives at court over an arrest warrant. Doesn't mean one's been issued, it just means they're going to decide if they're going to issue one. And the noise you hear in the back of my voice, yours truly had to drop a cough drop in her mouth. Alright, moving right along. As you know, North Korea is the Hermit Kingdom. And they don't take things the way you and I would. Okay? You gotta understand that. They don't take them the same way you and I would. North Korean officials have issued a new war threat after Senator John McCain said a crazy fat kid was running the hermit state. Well, no kidding, and he is a crazy fat kid. Alright? What can I say? I'm sorry, but he is. Now, is he crazy like a fox? That remains to be seen. That really does. So, now, North Korean foreign ministry officials, remember, these statements come from the North Korean government. You must keep this in mind, okay? In a statement released on Tuesday, it said the United States does not want peace on the Korean Peninsula, but seek only standoff and war with the DPRK. The situation calls on the DPRK to put a spur to bolstering the capabilities for self-defense to cope with possible U.S. military aggression. Now, of course, you know, I have said multiple times over, I've lost count of how many times I've said it. They always view our military exercises as a precursor to invasion. Now, they also blamed us. Oh yeah, they blamed us for the death of Kim Jong-nam. Yeah, they blamed us for Kim Jong-nam's death. That's exactly what I think of that. I'm sorry. We did not kill Kim Jong-nam. If we were going to kill any member of the Kim family, it would not be Kim Jong-nam. I'm sorry. It would not be. It would be Kim Jong-un. Take a listen, and you're going to have to listen closely.
From A to Z, this case is the product of reckless moves of the United States and South Korean authority aimed to meet the dangerous political purpose to tarnish the image of the dignified DPRK and bring down the social system in it.
Yes, they're saying we want to bring down their social system and do all kinds of other crazy things. We have no desire to do that. What we really want is a rational state actor. Now, I gotta love this one. This is, again, statement from the North Korean media. And the North Korean media is nothing but a mouthpiece. They don't get to pick their news. They don't get to write their stories. The government hands them a piece of paper and says, read. Okay. Unless the U.S. stops saber-rattling against the DPRK and abandons the hostile policy, the North Korean government will take eventful measures one after another to bolster up its nuclear force in quantity and quality. The U.S. has to clearly understand the stance of the DPRK. Stop the reckless act of driving the situation on the Korean Peninsula to the brink of war and withdraw the anachronistic hostile policy towards the DPRK. Guys, would you believe these people actually expected in 1990 to get normal relations with us? For stalling their plutonium production? That's even crazier than the last thing I read. Every time I trip over something from North Korea, I'm just sitting here going, have you lost the plot? But you all know there's a reason I call North Korea the lunatic to the north. All right. Here's another audio clip from the Senate Foreign Relations Subcommittee.
North Korea. The United States should look for ways to block the North Korean plan to mate nuclear weapons with intercontinental range ballistic missiles, both for the direct security of the United States of America and also for the credibility of our alliances that I mentioned before, particularly the extended deterrence which these countries depend upon. The vulnerability of the United States, particularly as we have been highlighting it, that is coming down the road as the North Koreans develop this capability, is threatening to our allies and to the extended deterrence. Can they still rely on us when we are vulnerable to the North Koreans?
Can they? Well, if you listen to Tillerson, they can. Okay? They can. So, I don't know. And by the way, the hearing I'm referencing most of these clips from came from the American leadership in the Asia Pacific security issues hearing on March 29th. All right, folks. We're going to take a brief commercial break because we're going to go just a little bit early so your wonderful host can grab a drink of water and hopefully prevent Mr. Frog from raising his ugly head. So we are going to pay them bills, and as always, you can find me on Twitter at Jessies POV. You want to interact with me during this show? Tag me in a tweet at Jessies POV. And I will see you on the other side.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
All right, this is Jessie. Thank you for hanging in there with me during that commercial break. I am so happy to be back with you, and we are continuing what I'm calling the looking north, because North Korea is at it again, folks. And I don't know how many times I've said this. I really don't. Now, not everybody wants the Kim family to succeed in North Korea. There are even North Korean defectors working against them. Well, of course they would. If I'd gotten out of a place that crazy, you can almost bet I'd be working against them too. Now, there is a North Korea defector that has been sending balloons filled with leaflets over from South Korea over into North Korea. Well, you and I would go, oh great, more trash. No, not them. They go, act of war! Yes, North Korea sees paper flying into their country as an act of war, as if it was a rocket. Now, I don't take it that way, and I kind of hope you don't either, but it just goes to my point that North Korea dictator Kim Jong-un is quackers. Most indubitably whackers. Now, got a couple of old sound bites on North Korea. Let's take a listen.
Bob.
Peter, Kim Jong-un says that they're getting close to having a ballistic missile of intercontinental range. And my question is, what is the Defense Department's policy at the moment if North Korea were to test launch a missile of intercontinental range? Would the Defense Department attempt to shoot it down?
Well, first of all, Bob, as you know, multiple UN Security Council resolutions explicitly prohibit North Korea's launches using ballistic missile technology or further development of a ballistic missile program. And we call on all states to use every available channel, means of influence to make clear to the North Korea and its enablers that launches using ballistic missile technology or efforts to advance North Korea's ballistic missile capabilities are unacceptable. We further call on all states to take steps to show that there are consequences to the DPRK's unlawful conduct. And we call on the DPRK to refrain from provocative actions and to make the strategic choice to fulfill its international obligations and commitments and return to serious talks. And we reaffirm our ironclad commitments to defend our allies utilizing the full spectrum of U.S. extended deterrence capabilities. Bob?
Okay, so we are definitely anti-North Korea ICBM, if you haven't figured that one out. All right, couple more audio clips. This one is important. Now, the gentleman was saying previously in this statement, but the clip was very long. He was extremely long-winded, and I did not want to subject you to a 4-minute audio clip. But we're going to play it, probably part of it, twice.
Right now, we think North Korea has about 12. So if
he is referring to 12 nuclear weapons. Let's take a listen now to the whole clip.
Right now, we think North Korea has about 12. So if we're going to decide, we can deter the Soviet Union and China for decades, but we can't manage North Korea because Kim Jong-un may be non-rational, non-deterrable. We should really examine that carefully if we propose to go to war as an alternative to depend upon deterrence. It may be the wise thing to do. I think everybody would love to have defense at this point. I think that would make a great deal of sense, but we do not have defense. We do not have a non-leaky defense.
All right. You heard it. And this was an open Senate Foreign Relations Subcommittee hearing. Now, on how strong our defense is, I'd rather get a quote from the DoD, but I do not have one at my fingertips. All right. Here's another one. How would this, how would a war kick off?
That leads to the question of what are we most worried about here? And we're worried about two types of developments. One is an escalation from an incident, either at sea, the shelling of an island, the sinking of a ship, something that causes a confrontation. Under the current circumstances, we do not know how the North Koreans think about their nuclear weapons. We don't know what they think they're good for. They may think they're good for deterring the South Koreans and the Americans from responding in that case. They would be wrong, tragically wrong, but the outcome would not be good. Second thing we need to worry about, I think, and maybe it's even more important, is transfer.
Yes. He mentioned transfer. We'll get to that clip in just a second. Now, North Korea has, in the past, transferred nuclear material. In fact, they sold Syria a nuclear reactor. You do not have to take my word on it, okay? I will play the clip in a moment. But just imagine right now if there was a plutonium-producing reactor in Syria with Daesh. Let that sink in for a second. Just imagine if there was a plutonium-producing nuclear reactor in Syria with Daesh. All right, here's what he said on transfer.
10 years ago, the North Koreans transferred a plutonium production reactor to Syria. It was crushed by the Israelis. If it had not been crushed, that reactor could be providing plutonium not only to Syrians, but to others who have traipsed through Syria, and these are pretty unsavory folks. And that's an image that goes to nuclear terrorism we don't like to contemplate. So we need to somehow impress upon the North Koreans that's not a move we want to see again.
Oh yeah. Now, there's been a lot. I got a couple of old clips. I dug back through my archives because I don't get rid of too many clips. Okay? I just don't. Let's take a listen to another old one.
Thank you, Secretary Carter and Minister Inada. I want to ask the Secretary Carter and Minister Inada about nuclear deterrence to North Korea. Secretary Carter, do you support the adopt no first use policy to deter North Korea?
Well, first, with respect to extended deterrence, as I said just a moment ago, our commitment to extend deterrence via the nuclear umbrella to our ally in alliance circumstances is unchanged. And we are continuing to build the capabilities to go along with that continuing extended deterrent. And that is important in a number of respects, but one in particular in the respect that you cited, namely to deter aggression from North Korea, which is an interest we strongly share, and therefore an interest of the alliance. And so the nuclear umbrella will continue. And I don't know whether you wanted me to say something about that, or is that? I'm happy to say something about that. That is an alliance. A decision of the as any such decision would be, and as we talk about future capabilities, we'll talk about all kinds of capabilities. But again, these are kind of decisions that we, like everything else we do as an alliance.
All right, so he wasn't as direct as Tillerson. Now, let me find the audio clip from Tillerson. And this was under, obviously, a new administration.
The U.S. commitment to the defense of Japan and its other treaty allies through the full range of our military capabilities is unwavering.
He said it pretty plainly, folks. If that isn't plainly saying, we have to, we're going to do it, I don't know what is. Here's one more audio clip from Tillerson.
The diplomatic and other efforts of the past 20 years to bring North Korea to a point of denuclearization have failed. So we have 20 years of failed approach. And that includes a period in which the United States provided $1.35 billion in assistance to North Korea as an encouragement to take a different pathway. That encouragement has been met with further development of nuclear capabilities, more missile launches, including those of the recent February 11th and March the 5th. In the face of this ever-escalating threat, it is clear that a different approach is required.
All right, a different approach is required. Now, Tillerson didn't say what that different approach would be. However, you combine those two comments, it leaves me wondering. It really does. So, he isn't mincing words. Unlike the previous administration, and you heard two clips about North Korea deterrence back to back. And after the recent launch, we sped up the implementation of THAAD and putting the THAAD system on the Korean Peninsula. All right, I got a couple more audio clips I want to get through.
The prescription, 3 boxes, typically and for a long time. Containment, military action, engagement. Containment includes all kinds of things that are good ideas. It includes sanctions, tougher sanctions, pressure on the Chinese. It includes all this. Very smart, indeed. It includes military exercises. It includes cyber activity. All this is containment. The problem is, we don't have any reason to believe, really, with any confidence, it'll bring down the regime, block the weapons program, or force them to the negotiating table in a positive frame of mind. So,
no, we don't. Because basically North Korea is an unreliable actor. We don't know what they're going to do. We have no way of predicting what Kim Jong-un, who I've said before and will say again, is absolutely off his rocker would do. We have zero ability. And I'm not the only one who said it, remember? I just played this one.
That leads to the question of what are we most worried about here? And we're worried about two types of developments. One is an escalation from an incident, either at sea, the shelling of an island, the sinking of a ship, something that causes a confrontation. Under the current circumstances, we do not know how the North Koreans think about their nuclear weapons. We don't know what they think they're good for. They may think they're good for deterring the South Koreans and the Americans from responding in that case. They would be wrong, tragically wrong, but the outcome would not be good. Second thing we need to worry about, I think, and maybe it's even more important, is transfer.
Now, I know I played that clip earlier, but I just wanted to reiterate it. I felt that strongly. All right. You've heard these words. You've heard them again. One last audio clip and then a few more words from your host.
The only thing I only have 2 points to make here. One is we had better insist that the outcome of the negotiations continue to be, for us, a non-nuclear weapon state. We cannot legitimize North Korean nuclear weapons by having an objective, the current program. A freeze could be a good interim step, but it can't be the end game. The second thing is I can't imagine us addressing the North Korean concern, why it has nuclear weapons to deter regime change by the United States of America. I can't imagine addressing that concern without a normal relationship between North Korea and the United States, and I can't imagine a normal relationship unless they improve their human rights record in a dramatic way. This will not be easy, but that's the only way I can see it.
And that's an expert saying that North Korea wants normalized relations with the United States, and the United States is going, not as long as you're treating your people like crap. Oh yeah, and they do. And we have discussed it and discussed it and discussed it on this program many times. All right. I've got one more old clip. I don't recall what this one says, but we're going to take a quick listen.
Secretary, a question for both of you.
Let's see what this says.
Secretary, a question for both of you about one of the topics you refer to, I think, as the Big Five problems that the country faces, North Korea. If and when North Korea does test launch an ICBM, would the U.S. or should the U.S. attempt to shoot it down, not because it poses a physical threat necessarily, but in order to deny North Korea the technical advancement it needs to move toward its ultimate goal of being able to hold the U.S. territory at risk?
If the missile is threatening, it will be intercepted. If it's not threatening, we won't necessarily do so. And because it may be more to our advantage to, first of all, save our interceptor inventory, and second, to gather intelligence from the flight, rather than do that when it's not threatening. And Joe, you same thing.
No, Bob, that's where I'd be as well.
Right. That was I'm guessing a DoD official at a Senate hearing, but I'm not entirely certain. It sounded more like a press conference. These are old clips. I don't remember where I got them. But now, how North Korea does their tests, and then we got to get on out of here. How and why? You're North Korea. You want to test a device. And you'd rather keep as much of it quiet as possible. Well, of course, physicists, geologists, and all that, and the best militaries in the world are listening, watching, looking from satellites, spy planes, and the like. So where do you do it? The tunnels of Mount Mantap. North Korea has conducted 5 nuclear tests. The first one took place in 2006. And Tunnels in Mount Mantap are hardly a secret, but it is where North Korea does. It's the Pyongri site under Mount Mantap. It is the world's only, I repeat, the world's only active nuclear testing site. It has 3 visible entrances into a series of horizontal tunnels stretching a kilometer, about a mile, or more into the mountain. Studies of the tunnel used for the second test was conducted in 2009 and featured in the propaganda film. Suggest it has the shape of a fish hook. And that's what experts would expect since Pakistan used a similar design. Makes this host wonder if North Korea is not talking to Pakistan. So, it has been estimated the most recent test was conducted below more than 700 meters or 770 yards of solid mountain. The concern that another test may be looming has been heightened by recent images from satellites and analysis by experts. And obviously, they reference the latest unclassified imagery from the 25th of March. Now, North Korea didn't do a good job of obscuring its 2006 test. However, they have taken steps to try and minimize some of its more recent tests. However, North Korea is probably happy to have the world see it is testing and to get an estimate of the yield. At least as long as the yield is increasing. It keeps the world guessing, and North Korea likes to keep the world guessing. How advanced is its program? Something we will likely never know. But it is particularly concerning that North Korea is trying to develop and master the use of thermonuclear bomb materials to enhance its arsenal. It could also be looking at new fission designs such as bombs with composite cores of plutonium and enriched uranium. The payoff could be smaller but deadlier bombs that would be easier to put in long-range missiles and would use less plutonium per weapon, which could mean more testing. Now, we're going to briefly touch on Kim Jong-nam and Malaysia. There are Malaysian families being held in North Korea. They are the families of diplomats. First of all, as far as your show host knows, diplomats can't be made to stay in a country legally under international law. Secondly, they are screaming about wanting the body of Kim Jong-nam back. However, it has yet to be returned. So, who knows what is going on? Now today, Malaysia, yes, Malaysia, the same country where Kim Jong-nam died, inspected a North Korean coal ship for possible UN sanctions breach. Because of the December 2016 UN Security Resolution that placed a cap on the exports of North Korea coal. Yes, they did. And I gotta say, Way to go, Malaysia. All right, on that note, folks, I really got to run. I will see you on the other side, and as always, you can catch me on Twitter at Jessies POV. You can drop me a line at the station at Jessies POV at KLRNRadio. And on that note, folks,